Welcome back to Anatomy and Physiology, Chapter 6, Bone. This is video number 6. And in this video, we're going to start talking about bone tissue. So the first type of bone tissue we are going to look at is compact bone. And compact bone is going to be characterized by having very few spaces. So the tissue is actually packed very tightly. And we are looking at the external surface of all bones under the periosteum and the bulk of the diaphysis of long bones. So if you recall, when we looked at a diagram of a long bone, we had a layer of compact bone and then the marrow cavity. But this compact bone extends the whole way around the perimeter underneath the periosteum of the entire bone. So with this compact bone, we have a structure. And the hallmark of this is the osteon. O-S-T-E-O-N. And you can see that we have these circular concentric circles of bone tissue in this diagram. So this one has been shown up a little bit higher. So these would run up through the bone. So it'd be like long tubes of bone. Here is another one. So you can see how it forms these circular structures. So you can see these circular structures all through here. Those have a certain structure. So the first thing that we can see is that you have these concentric layers. These are called concentric lamellae. Lamella would be singular. And these are layers of bone tissue that surround a central canal. Inside of the middle of this osteon, we have blood vessels and a lymph vessel. So these are concentric. This is a concentric lamella, a bone layer. And if you look in between these osteons, like here and here, here, we have bone tissue that occupies that space. We also have bone tissue that forms a layer the whole way around the bone. So let's talk about the one here. This is going to be called circumferential lamellae. And this surrounds the perimeter of the bone under the periosteum. So that layer forms a perimeter. It's the circumference of the bone, if you want to think about that. We also have the spaces here. This is called interstitial lamellae. This is between osteons. So all of these lamellae are going to be layers of bone tissue, and we have three different ones: concentric, circumferential, and interstitial. We also have these different canals that form. So if we look down here, we have this central canal that goes down each of these osteons. This is called the Haversian canal. And the Haversian canal runs parallel to the long axis of the bone. So it's the center of the osteon. But if you look, we also have the blood vessels running perpendicular to the long axis. This is called a Volkmann canal. So this is a transverse canal, and it offers connections for vessels, so for our blood vessels. And these are perpendicular to the long axis of the bone. We also have this layer surrounding here, so this is the periosteum. And we're not going to worry about this one. We're not going to worry about anything over here either until we talk about the second layer of bone and the structure, or second type of bone tissue and its structure. So if we look here at this diagram, we can see that we have blown up this little area right here, and here we can see our osteocyte. So in here we have this osteocyte, and we have these different features here. And this osteocyte resides in a lacuna. So this darker area right there is called the lacuna. And then we have these projections out, and we're going to move down here and we'll talk about what these are. So if we look here at this diagram, this whole thing is an osteon, and we're looking at it from a top view down on there. So this right here is our Haversian canal. These little dark spots are osteocytes in a lacuna. Here we have our concentric lamella. So we have one concentric circle. And we also have these little projections that come out. These are called canaliculi. These are projections of osteocytes in small channels that allow communication. Between osteocytes. So these little channels connect osteocytes to one another and allow for communication between them. So you could see that a little bit better up here, that the cytoplasm of the osteocyte actually travels out and it connects one osteocyte to another. So this basically means little canal, canaliculi.